Not one person has rolled on Harbaugh.
I can't go that far with all of that. May not be wrong.
Michigan did the right thing, apparently.
I have the sanction report right here, and it's favorable for old Michigan.
It's a fair penalty. At least that's the reaction I get.
I think Michigan got off pretty easy here, getting out ahead of the flanks and knowing what was going on with the enemy, and he was reporting back to his commanding officer.
So the penalties have been handed down, Chad. The penalties.
Penalties are in. We have the sanctions.
Yeah,
I have the sanction report right here, and it's favorable for old Michigan.
I think so. Even though the way it's being reported would make you think it's a fair penalty. At least that's the reaction I get, the tone that I get from some of these social media posts and tweets. This from ESPN that Pete Thamel and Dan Wetzel have reported. Michigan will receive a significant fine, among other punishments from the NCAA Committee on Infraction ruling, expected to be more than $20 million from the loss of postseason football revenue for the next 2 seasons. Michigan coach Sharon Moore will also be given an additional game suspension, which is expected to take place in 2026. Now, he will sit out 2 games this year. It will be the Central Michigan game in Week 3 and the game against Nebraska in Week 4. That follows their matchup against Oklahoma, which he will be coaching. So, Chad, I focus on Moore first because he had the deleted emails the text that got with Connor Stallions.
Yep.
That, you immediately go in and you get rid of the text chain and all that. Like, this is the punishment, an extra game. And we don't know the game yet for next year. But for this year, it's weeks 3 and 4, not the Oklahoma matchup.
Yes, Sharon Moore will coach in the opener against New Mexico and then coach at Oklahoma in Week 2. And you're right, Hutton. He'll serve the suspension against Central Michigan and at Nebraska. We'll have to look at the 2026 schedule to see what cupcake game he'll sit out that season. But I guarantee it's not going to be the Ohio State game that Sharon Moore will be sitting out in 2026.
No.
It's likely to be the worst game on their schedule next year.
Now, they are working on opening the season next year in Frankfurt, I believe, against Western Michigan. That's like 2026 I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then Week 2, I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but Oklahoma would be coming to Michigan.
Yep.
Okay.
Here's the leader in the clubhouse. You ready for the game that he's going to miss in 2026? In Week 3, 2026, the Michigan Wolverines are set to take the field at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, Michigan, against the University of Texas El Paso Miners. Congratulations, UTEP. You're not going to be facing the head coach of Michigan in that game. I have got breaking news. I'm the new Pete Thamel now. I'm the Pete Thamel of OutKick.
Go ahead and say it.
Breaking news.
Go ahead and say it.
Sharon Moore will serve his suspension in 2026 in Week 3 at home against UTEP, following the game at home against Oklahoma. That will absolutely be the game that he serves his suspension.
I don't disagree.
Hutton, I think that
Don't let Michigan choose.
I think Michigan got off pretty easy here. I also never expected any big postseason bans moving forward, scholarship reductions moving forward. Keep in mind, the NCAA years ago tried to make a concerted effort that we are going to hammer those that commit the penalties and lie about it, the individuals that do it, and not try to necessarily hurt the programs moving forward. But how do you really get to a program? Well, you hurt their chances of winning in the future. So does $20 million in postseason money that's now going to be taken from you and given to the NCAA, how much is that going to hurt your chances of winning? At a place like Michigan, they're going to cry poor over this if they lose a few games, but it's not going to overly affect them in the short term. So. They're going to stroke that check from the postseason that they're not going to get the money, and they're going to continue recruiting at a high level and operating at a high level because they're Michigan.
So you mentioned that you go back and you want to punish those that
committed the crimes and not the future players at Michigan.
The show cause. We have this post as well. Former Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh will receive a 10-year show cause penalty, and Connor Stallions will receive an 8-year show cause penalty. That according to Ross Dellinger.
By the way, I will actually, we joke about the NCAA having no teeth, frankly having no balls in cases like this. This is one thing that I love. They got the head of the snake, at least, in Harbaugh. And even if it's just symbolic because he's going to be coaching in the NFL and not coming back to college anyways, I like the message it sends that no one is buying it that Harbaugh didn't know exactly what was going on. and wasn't misleading the NCAA the entire time about what was happening with Connor Stallions. Connor Stallions was being a good foot soldier, right? And what he was doing.
Hey.
He was being a smart infantryman, getting out ahead of the flanks and knowing what was going on with the enemy. And he was reporting back to his commanding officer, who was Sharon Moore and Jim Harbaugh. So I like that Jim Harbaugh got hit with the heftier show cause.
Not just one good foot soldier. All of the foot soldiers. Not one person has rolled on Harbaugh. Think about how difficult that is to find in football, in sports, where there are hirings and firings. There are recruits that are over-recruited, that are committed and then told, we don't have space for you because the transfer portal, someone's coming in to take that job. There are plenty of reasons why someone would be pissed off at Jim Harbaugh and that staff, or Connor Stallions for that matter. Not one person that I can recall has said, you know what, I saw it firsthand. Yeah, or they absolutely knew. Nothing else. They celebrate Connor Stallions and Jim Harbaugh. It is, and by the way, let's sometimes look at the players, the coaches, the former coaches. They hold grudges. You know, I was the wide receivers coach. I'm doing hypothetical here. I'm the wide receivers coach that should have been offered the co-offensive coordinator job to stay, and I wasn't. I didn't get the job by title, the raise by title, so I'm out and I'm pissed off about it. You know, I was a loyal foot soldier until now. Not one person has said anything. That's remarkable. And only Sharon Moore, because of deleted text messages, is out. Now there have been other coaches that have been removed from the program prior to this, but Chad, you delete some text messages and with Connor Stallions, and that's one extra game, and Michigan chooses the other two.
So
Michigan played this perfectly, by the way. Their strategy, not just with Harbaugh. Harbaugh was defiant, but the program and the university was behind Harbaugh. Then they were like, you know what, we're going to self-impose thing. They played this perfectly to the point where Charlie Baker, the president of the NCAA, after winning the national title, said Michigan won it fair and square.
So, Hutton, a couple things on this. One, fascinating to me that in a college sports world, major college sports world, that everyone would agree is all about money.
Yes.
NIL in it, players freely going from program to program, recruiting, everything else. It's about the money. It's about the TV money. It's about the money you can spend on players. It's about the money you can spend on facilities. It's about the money you can spend on coaching buyouts and all of these things. The NCAA, in this time of this gigantic shift to everything being about money all the time and nothing being about academics or student athletes or any of that, the NCAA says, you know what? You're right. $20 million is the punishment. That's the biggest thing we're going to get to. We're going to get to your money, and we want the money also. I have legitimate questions about what happens with that money. The NCAA doesn't just take it and disperse it to the people that work there, do they? I'm sure it has to go back to sports that don't make money on college campuses or charity, or do they just take the $20 million?
Well, it goes to the conference to distribute to the teams, right?
Well, and they're taking Michigan's share from the Big Ten.
Well, so does the Big Ten get the money to distribute?
I do not think
the rest of the Big Ten?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I know.
I think the NCAA is getting the money that Michigan would make from the Big Ten. They're skipping over Michigan and paying the NCAA for Michigan's fine. But
the NCAA, they don't get the college football playoff money, though.
And that's my point, is like, do they just keep it as a profit? I don't know where that money goes. Anyways.
But it was the Big Ten. It was the Big Ten institutions and members that were involved in this investigation.
Right.
So maybe did they get paid off of this?
I don't think so.
That
would be a way to hurt Michigan even more, is to say you're going to pay your rivals $20 million. This money's going to go to all the Big Ten schools you're going to play.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't. Again, we'll figure that out, where that money goes when the $20 million that is fined Michigan goes to the NCAA. What happens with it? Here's the other thing with this: if I were to tell a Michigan fan before that national title, before that breakthrough with Jim Harbaugh to win a national title, that you are going to be involved in a massive scandal that's going to consume the entire college football world for an entire season with Connor Stallions, but that team is going to vindicate themselves by winning in the playoffs, winning the national championship in a game against Washington, and it would result in Jim Harbaugh leaving the program to go to the NFL, and you end up with Sharon Moore as your head coach. Would you take that $20 million payment, all of the negative press, all the publicity, everything else about people calling you cheaters, and all of that for that one national championship? I'm not a Michigan fan, Hutton, but my answer to that question would be yes, if Sharon Moore is a really good coach like Jim Harbaugh. We don't know that yet.
We don't know, but
with Sharon Moore. So I would say I'm okay with that bargain, right? That devil's bargain for that national title if Sharon Moore is the next Jim Harbaugh in terms of winning on the field. If Sharon Moore is the type of coach who could go win a national title,
okay,
I'm good with it. If it's a gigantic drop-off and my program is set back to Rich Rodriguez levels because the coach sucks and we lose Jim Harbaugh for that one national title, then I'm probably not okay with it given the $20 million and everything else. So I think that for me, there's a bit of an addendum at the end of all of this that if Sharon Moore is a great coach, I would take that deal 100 times out of 100.
Now, let's go to how...
We're going to hear some Michigan fans on this, though, if they would take it.
I want to go to... yes, you take it.
They want the natty.
Here's the other part.
And fans of any program can answer it, right? Like, if you know now what you know about Michigan, would you do all of this and take the national title?
At least they didn't vacate a title here because it happened.
Right.
And they won it fair and square. They couldn't do it because Charlie Baker said they did. Here's the other part of the tie-in, Chad, to what happened then to now. Bryce Underwood. Connor Stallions played a factor and a big role in why he flipped from LSU to Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Because he went and coached or helped the Unionville High School or whatever it was in 2024. And, he's highly, not highly credited, but it's been linked that he helped the highly touted recruit in Underwood flip from LSU to Michigan, who's going to be the quarterback this year with Sharon Moore. So, the Connor Stallions era is still going well.
Belleville High School.
Belleville, thank you.
Yes, in Michigan.
What did I say? Unionville? Yeah, whatever.
You were close.
By
the way, the whole relationship with Stallions, Barstool, Dave Portnoy, who's a huge Michigan booster.
Yep.
And how Portnoy's openly bragging about buying Underwood, and then Stallions sort of being a plant in that whole thing.
He was there to help the offense.
And coaching him, it's an interesting side plot in all of this.
Hard not to look over that, right?
Yeah.
For me. So it's still playing a role. And also, it's just Michigan played it. Let me go back to this briefly. Michigan played this so well that they put everything on Connor Stallions. They removed him from the program. No one spoke to him. We've seen the Netflix piece. We've seen all of that. And they picked the guy that is such a diehard lifer, would die for the program. He did. He did.
Yeah.
His dream was to be a coach for Michigan, and now he's got a show cause.
He is the Jesus Christ of Michigan football.
And he accepted it with open arms.
He died for everyone else's sins, and he didn't roll over on anyone and gave them a national title.
He accepted it with open arms, and they've built a statue for this man.
Yeah.
Build a statue for this man. Take an extra $20 million and build a statue that's better than Tom Brady's. With the Patriots, please.
By the way, Tyler Castle, noted Ohio State fan, is the one who picked this photo of Connor Stallions. I'm like, could we find a worse picture of Connor Stallions in all the archives?
Yeah.
And Tyler's, you couldn't find anything. I'm like, okay, sure. Tyler, the big Ohio State fan. Here's what I don't want to see, all right? Dan Dockich of OutKick has been talking a lot about Michigan is the most corrupt program in the history of corrupt programs. I can't go that far with all of that, and Dan's got his reasons for saying it, and he may not be wrong, but not knowing every program that's cheated throughout time, I don't know that I can definitively say that. Here's what I will say, though, about Michigan, and I've said it from the beginning. I don't want to hear about Michigan man ever again. I don't want to hear about your high levels of integrity as opposed to the rest of college sports ever again. If you are a Michigan grad that did not play football or just went to the school and you want to talk about the integrity of students at that school, fine. But when we're talking about Michigan athletics, given the Fab Five and their scandal, given this now, Do not give me the bullshit about being a Michigan man and acting like you are above anybody. You're not. You're right down there in the muck with Ohio State, who bought a national title, and Alabama and Georgia and every SEC program you want to make fun of for cheating. You are right there in the muck with the rest of us. So stop it with the Michigan man nonsense.
I want to get into a few more details here of the penalty. And I guess this is how they're coming up with the $20 million. It's a $50,000 fine plus 10% of the budget for the football program. A fine equivalent to the anticipated loss of all postseason competition revenue. Revenue sharing, excuse me. That's associated with this season and next season. So that's a fine equivalent to that. So that's the $20 million right there. So they're getting a $50,000 plus 10% of the budget for the football program. A fine equivalent to the cost of 10% of the scholarships awarded in Michigan's football program for this upcoming academic year. A 25% reduction in football official visits this upcoming season. And a 14-week, they're prohibited for 14 weeks on recruiting communications in the football program during this prohibited period of time. This
2 years
where they can't have officially where they can't have the official visits.
Okay.
Denard Robinson also has a 3-year show cause order in this too, along with Jim Harbaugh and Connor Stallions.
I forget about Denard Robinson, the former quarterback, having any part in any of this.
So anyway,
so many names pop back up in your head when you're going through this. Oh yeah, that guy was a part of it
4 years of probation as well, Chad.
Yeah. Hey,
probation.
Isn't
everyone on probation?
Any college football fan that is starved for a national title, if they would take the natty, given all of these ramifications of cheating, and I bet you 99%, that may be even a little bit modest, would take that bargain and say, yeah, I would take all this and win a natty.
I want to know when Jim Harbaugh is speaking again as head coach of the Chargers. Because he will have to respond to this, and he will double down on everything here.
Yeah, and I would, if he's going to do that, is he going to lawyer up? Is he going to fight the 10-year show cause? I mean, Bruce Pearl fought it. Donnie Tyndall at Tennessee fought it when they got hefty show cause. They didn't win anything, but if you're certain of your innocence, I would think you'd lawyer up and fight it. Now, he may say, I'm just not going to concern myself with it because I'm in the NFL, and I don't care about a college show cause anymore. But I'm also innocent. That's probably the route he'll go. But Hutton, you're right. He is absolutely going to be asked about this.
Yes. Yep, he will.